Hello, beautiful, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. If you are new to my voice, if you're new to my face, I am your girl, Alante Collier, the Streamline strategist helping online business owners become time rich CEOs, y'all. So today I have a very special it's an assignment. I keep saying special assignment, but I have a very special announcement to make y'all. And I'm not even going to lie, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous to tell y'all what this announcement is. But I'm excited. It's timely, and I can't wait. So before I go over what this special announcement is, I want to walk you guys through my journey of how I got to where I am today, especially if you're new here. You're like, girl, who is this girl I keep seeing on Facebook, talking to in the DMs, right? This is what it's all about. So if you're tuning in live, y'all, if you're catching this on a replay, go ahead and comment down below. Hashtag live, hashtag replay. I think there's some stuff going out there in the community. So if you hear a lot of background noise, that's what's going on. But let's go ahead and get this thing started, y'all. So the story, the journey, where does it all start? I don't know if anyone can relate out there. Let me know if you can. But I grew up almost passionate. I was one of those people, I played all the sports in the world. I joined all the clubs and organizations. I was very active. And I was also that person who had all these different creative ideas all the time. And it was kind of like almost crazy and hard to implement them all, but that was me, right? And so I remember when I was 14 years old, y'all, I went to a very rigorous high school. So shout out to all of the GSMSers out there. Y'all went to Gwinnett School of Math, Science, and Technology. So that answers a lot of questions that a lot of y'all have. But I remember when I was 14 and I walked into engineering class for the very first time. And I was just in awe. And as I was completing my first engineering project, it was like things just finally started making sense. My world started making sense. Things started clicking. Because growing up, I was always a geek. I was always a nerd. I love numbers. I love data. But I never knew what an engineer was. I never knew what I could do with that. And so that class, that honestly, that high school helped me see what my future could look like, right? And so 2 years later, I had my first real experience in the real world. I was interning with Cisco Systems out there. Hello, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And back then, I was managing that company with the back end. And I was basically just making sense of all of the data out there. And that's where I knew I could work magic. That's where I knew I could use my skill set and I could just make something beautiful out of something that made no sense, right? So following that, y'all, I'm going through with this, okay? Stick with me. Following that, 2 years later, at the age of 18, I had the opportunity to intern underneath one of my mentors, who is the president and founder of Air Wireless, which is now Cricket Wireless. So I went from learning about the backend systems and data analysis to learning how to really manage a seamless operation with a lot of different moving parts, right? And so that's when I knew that I could be successful as a CEO. And it's like every 2 years in my life, I would go through this ascension. I would enter this new identity. I would shed these old beliefs, this old identity, and step into what that next season looked like for me every 2 years. And it's been crazy, right? So after, where we at, 18, 2 years following that, y'all, I was 20 in college. And that's when I went through my very first holistic health transformation. And for me, that was where I finally made sense of, I would say, life, and saw how everything is connected. How in order to sustain in anything that you do in life, you have to have a holistic outlook, a holistic kind of point of view, tackle things from a holistic, what's the word? Focus, right? Like your mind, your body, your spiritual, right? All of this is interconnected. So when you focus on one and you neglect the others, it's kind of like they're all affected. That's when I first realized at 20, the power of that, right? And so when I was 20, I got this revelation that I could be a coach. And I remember after I got done with that transformation, the network of women I was supporting, they all pushed me to be a mentor and coach. And y'all, I was 20 years old and I was mentoring women twice my age. And so at that point, I wasn't yet ready to handle the assignment over my life. So what I did instead was I ended up starting climbing that corporate ladder, right? So fast forward to when I graduated college, got that engineering degree. I got into the project management space, started climbing that ladder. Y'all, I love everything about the company, right? I'm one of those people, I didn't quit corporate because corporate, I didn't like the culture. I didn't like something happened. There was nothing wrong. I loved the company. I loved the work that I was doing. I loved the people I was working with, right? What happened with me was it was one of those kind of times where you just kind of outgrow a position, right? You get to the point where there's not really much else a company can do to help you get to your next level and help you reach your highest potential, right? So when I left the corporate world, I think I was probably 24 at that time. At that point, I had launched my first online business. Months later, I launched my second online business. They both were very profitable, both grew very quickly, but this is where things started taking a turn, okay? And I remember when the pandemic came and I was fresh out of my career, y'all, fresh out of corporate. I had my own things going on. Back then, I was very selfish. And I felt like I was living the life until pandemic came and shut down everything that I worked for. So in 2020, I spent 6 months, y'all, questioning God, what is my assignment? What am I here to do? I had everything set up perfectly. I had the 6-month corporate exit strategy. I had dotted all my I's, crossed all my T's. Why did it not work for me? And I like to consider the pandemic as a reset for the world. For me, during that period of those 6 months of me asking and questioning God, what is my assignment? You know what he told me, y'all? He said, you've been doing your own thing for so long. You've been going about your life having this control for so long that I need you to come back home and do what I've called you to do. And for me, I had to let go of my pride. I had to let go of my ego. I had to stop chasing the worldly success of the travel and the money and the condo in the city, right? Because at the end of the day, I had that, but I didn't recognize who I was. And so I spent, y'all, 2 years after that, shedding all of these beliefs, right? And going from chasing worldly success to understanding that in order for me to get the fulfillment that I've been missing my entire life, right? You have to go into servant leadership. You have to understand that people are attached to your dreams. So in that period of time, I surrendered my will over my life for my divine will over my life. And when I answered that calling and started stepping into divine alignment, which is what that was, right? I went from every 2 years of this ascension and going into this new identity to every 6 months. It was like a huge breakthrough for me, right? And so I went from 2020, you guys, if you guys have been around me long enough, you guys know the story, right? 2020 hit rock bottom, right? Shut down 2 businesses. You have to pivot, you work your way out. And then I spent the next 2.5 years building up the coaching and consulting business, right? Here I am today. And this is what brings me to this special announcement that I have for everyone. And thank y'all who is tuning in. Hello, y'all. Thank you. I don't know who this is. So if you're in the Facebook group or wherever you're seeing this, because I'm streaming to 3 different places right now, if you can click the link or at least type your name so I can know who is chatting, who is tuning in, so I can acknowledge you. But y'all, I have a broken nail right now. It doesn't matter. I feel like I'm going to cry today too, y'all. Over the past 2.5 years, the dream life that I had 3 years ago cannot even compare to the dream life that I'm living today. What do I mean by that, y'all? I went from being very selfish. I went from being addicted to the lavish lifestyle. I went from chasing money. I went from chasing freedom. I went from becoming somebody I no longer knew or liked into the person that you guys see today. And a lot of you all have a very special part that you've played in this journey, right? So, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you that I've connected with over a coffee chat, over a conversation in the DMs, over a Facebook group. It doesn't matter how we met. I am forever grateful, y'all, for our connection. I'm forever grateful for how we met. So all of my clients that have given us the opportunities to partner and work, I'm forever grateful for each and every one of you. Okay, because you guys have really made this journey the past 2.5 years a dream come true. From the little girl who knew she wanted to be the boss of something but not know what, to leaving corporate, to hitting rock bottom, to today. Me? The girl who was a super introvert, who was like a fly on the wall, who struggled with social anxiety, struggled with just basic human connection. Y'all, here I am today leading a community, right? Getting ready to expand, going through this whole growing pain season, right? And I say all of this to say, when you guys look at me and you guys look at everything that we're doing, all of the success, all of the wins, all of the failures, right? And the lessons learned through all of that, this is a reflection. I'm just a reminder of what you can do, what you're capable of, right? And this year has been a record-breaking year for the company, for the team, for the business, because we spent majority of the year being booked out, being booked and busy. And because of this is a special announcement. We are expanding into a full-blown agency, right? I say that, and when I say that, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm scared all at the same time, because I fought going the agency route for 2 years. But here's why I'm doing that, okay? My sole mission is to bridge this global wealth gap. My sole mission is to do that in a way where you become and you reach your highest potential, right? As an entrepreneur, as a CEO. And because we've reached our capacity, to be completely honest, because there's only so much we can do, right? I want to give my clients, I want to give my community, I want to give everyone who's attached to me the best support, the best service, the best, and the best everything, y'all, that I could possibly give you. So this is why I've decided to launch this agency, okay? And so what this agency is, y'all, first and foremost, it is called Streamline Scale. If you've been around me long enough, a year, 2 years, I've been throwing out the Streamline Scale, time-rich CEO, different names here and there, kind of hinting at something, because here it is, right? This is the day. So let me bring up this banner, y'all, because I'm still nervous, because I'm still like, am I really doing this? Is this like serious? But today I am officially opening up the doors for the Streamline Scale agency. And this is an operations management agency, okay? So what our focus is, what we do going forward, because this is no longer just me and my team. This is now Streamline Scale, the community, the agency, as we expand. So what we do is we manage the back-end operations for online businesses, so that we can help these online CEOs regain their time and their energy to scale these profits and sustain, right? The reason why is because when I had my first 2 businesses, when I had the travel business and the Airbnb property, I didn't even think about systems and sustainability. I didn't think about a pandemic or a recession coming. And because of that, I lost my replacement income streams that I built up while I was in corporate, right? That led to my rock bottom. And because we're in a recession today, right now, and we don't know how bad it's going to get, y'all, I don't want anyone else to go through the same mistakes that I've gone through, to waste as much time, as much energy, as much money, because it takes a toll on you. And there's an easier way. And what I've noticed is that there's not a lot of discussions, not a lot of talk or education around back-end operations, about systems, about sustainability, right? It's so much more than just automation tools and a Dubsado, and it's so much more than that. And so if you're watching this right now and you know that you are here for the long haul, you care about the longevity of your business, you want to make sure that throughout this recession, right, your business will sustain, you'll be famine proof, you won't be affected by the next economic or environmental disaster. This is what this agency is all about, because not only are we educating you on how to do that, we can also do that for you as well. But before I get into the agency and all that other good stuff, y'all, I wish I could see all of the comments, but right now I can't. So please, if you're watching this right now, y'all, like, love, put some comments down below. Let me know if you're still rocking with me. Let me know if you support this. But here's what we got going on, okay? So it took me from leaving corporate to hitting rock bottom to finally regaining that stability. It took me about 2.5 years to get to the point where I'm good, to get to the point where I made my first 100K online. And I've scaled both of my ventures, my rental property and my coaching consulting business, to its first 100K. I've done that. I have the blueprint. But because it took me 2.5 years, and because of the knowledge, the skill set, and the whatever you want to call it that I have now, right? I have two goals that I have for this agency. One is personal and one is for the company. One personally, because I feel like, I don't know why God chose me. I want to document this agency's road to its first 100K. And I have a mission of hitting this by New Year's, by January 1st, 2023. Okay. So I'm going to be documenting the entire journey. And I'm doing this because I want each and every one of you who's attached to me, who's watching this live, who's watching this on a replay, to know that you can make your first 100K online. And if you can make 100K, you can do it again. You can make your first million and scale from there. But also understand where this economy, where this world is heading to right now. There's been a lot of talks of everything transitioning into the digital space, digital world, the virtual world, whatever you want to call it. And that is so true, to the point where there is no better time. If anything, right, make sure that your business, and everything you have going on is set up to sustain, set up to survive this turning point, this pivot that we're in right now, right? So the first mission that I have for this agency is to hit 100K by New Year's. And I'm documenting all of the process. I'm documenting everything, the wins, the failures. I'm letting you guys know about it all, okay? Because if I can do it, I know you can. But also, right, for the company, the mission that I have is I want to help 100 business owners double their annual profits, right, within the next 6 months, okay? So if that's you, you'll know that's you. You'll know when the time is right for us to connect and go into that partnership. But this is me publicly declaring this to everybody who's streaming this right now. This agency, number one, is for the culture. This agency will make history. This agency is going to hit its first 100K by New Year's. This agency is going to impact 100 family lives and show these business owners how to build a business that's scalable, that's sustainable, that's sellable. Because after what I went through, y'all, I'm telling you, it was probably the worst thing I ever went through. I don't want anyone ever going through that ever again. And there's so many bad teachings and practices out there that no one's really giving you the information like you need to, and breaking it down in a simple way where it's practical, it makes sense, and you can execute it. Okay. Let's do this, music. Yes, let's do this. So about the agency, how we're going to make this happen. Inside of the agency, there's 3 different divisions. There's one division strictly for management consulting. So we'll be working directly with CEOs and C-suite decision makers and helping them transform their business models to be sustainable, helping them make sure they have back-end operations that's running seamlessly, right? They have the support team in place to sustain, right? That's the first division. The second division is we have a back-end system build out. So right now, you know, your client management system needs some work. Your project management system needs to work. Your email marketing system, right? Everything that deals with the back-end operation side, y'all, we have a division for that. We can take care of that for you. But the third division is what is really filling in this gap, right? if you scale your business to the 6-figure point, multiple 6 figures, you're on your way to 7 figures, right? The third division is for you if you're looking to outsource your operations. If you're looking for someone, a fractional chief officer of operations, to come in and completely manage all of your back-end operations and be the glue that holds it all together while you shorten your work weeks, we scale your profits, right? And you have your time and energy back to get back with your family, get back with your kids, be able to reap the fruits of your labor, right? This is what these 3 divisions are within the business, within the company, okay? Last but not least, y'all, I've made it to the end of this, y'all. I'm telling you, I was so nervous. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm really doing this. But the last thing that I want to let everyone know is there's 3 ways that you can support me, okay? There's 3 ways. And if you resonate with me, if you're still watching this to the end, this is for you, right? The first way is if you love this post, right? That lets me know that you support, you're on this journey, you're supporting the mission, right? Of helping us bridge this global wealth gap. Number 2, share this post with your with your network, right? Share this on your profile. It's okay. I don't mind, right? Share the wealth, circulate the wealth. Third way that you can support us is join the community. We have a lot going on over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We have a lot in the pipeline. And a lot of this is just to showcase the work that we do, the results our clients have had, and the kind of impact, right? The ripple effect that we've had in the world. A lot of y'all still to this day don't really know exactly what it is that I do or the kind of work that we do. So this is the way that over the next 4 to 6 weeks, we just want to show you. Right? It's one thing to tell you, but I'm a shower, so I like to show you. Awesome, y'all. Thank you for the support. I'm going to read these comments. Thank you guys so much. Hello, Miss Brianna. Hello. Amazing. But yes, y'all, this is the special announcement that I wanted to make. Going forward, Streamline Scale will be your go-to for all operations. And so I'm kind of separating my personal brand. I'm doing something different over the next 6 months. And so a lot of the business talk and a lot of that will migrate and transition over to the business page. But if you still want to follow me for lifestyle tactics and all that other good stuff and see the road to this agency's first 100K, stay tuned, stay connected. We'll be everywhere, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere. So you won't miss out a beat, okay? But outside of that, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. I'm excited. We're here. And I don't know what's next. I've been getting so many questions. Yeah, I don't have all the answers. I don't know what's next. I just kind of move how God tells me to. And it makes sense later. You know, God is, I call him Big G. He has a sense of humor, but he's always in control and it's always perfect timing. But outside of that, y'all, I hope that you all have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, an amazing rest of your week. And if this is your first time tuning in, I hope that you can resonate with this story. And if we haven't connected yet, I love connecting. So send me a quick hi, hello in the DMs. Let's connect. And outside of that, y'all have an amazing rest of your week. Until next time.